and welcome to Retech, and today it's just a short video. It's a bit of a two-pronged kind of attack really, because I'm going to cover something that you may have noticed. Over the last couple of videos you might have noticed that the video quality was a little different, and so was the sound, and that's because I was trying out different cameras. You see, normally I use a Sony shoulder mount professional camera, basically the ones you see kind of the TV studios kind of use, and it's fully digital. It works really well. It's got great sound quality to it, great picture quality and so on, but it is quite a big bulky unit and it's very heavy. It's not so bad when you're kind of in here and you've got it on a big tripod. It's not causing any issues, but I decided to go down the kind of new, smaller route because I've had this camera for a few years. It hasn't put a foot wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just one of those things I thought I'd try something different. So I went out and got a couple of mirrorless cameras. I tried a mirrorless Samsung and the picture quality was awful and the sound quality wasn't much better. Even putting it through enhancements through software, it still wasn't good enough. So then I tried a 4K camcorder, and again that wasn't very good, and it was a Canon, and the Canon camcorder that I had previously, which was standard high def 1080p, was brilliant. It looks like these manufacturers are cutting corners just to kind of pick up the pixel headline as they do in their brochures, and you know, they're literally doing it, but they're going down the mobile phone route, I kind of assume, with their very small sensors crammed with pixels, which then don't let in enough light, and they have quite poor kind of low light visibility. And then if you use an LED lights as well to light things, they cause graininess on the pictures because of the very small sensors, etc. So I almost gave up on it. So then I thought, well, why don't I go down the Sony route, get a mirrorless from Sony and give that a try, because they do semi-professional and professional versions, which are very good because they have mic inputs and so on. So that's what I decided to do. So this is what I'm on now. Now, once I've done this video, I will put it out there. If it's not very good, I'll let you know. But Sony's one of my favorite manufacturers for things like this, and their products always feel pretty good quality as well. I actually had a look at an EOS before this, and as soon as I picked it up, it didn't matter how many megapixels it had and so on. As soon as I literally picked it up, I had to say no, because it just felt disgustingly cheap. But that's my opinion. So, you know, if I'm going to buy something, I want something that feels that it's going to at least take a few knocks before it disintegrates or breaks. So there you go. So anyway, that's where I am now. But on to today's topic. I was sent an email by a gentleman called Stefan, who saw my previous video on, it was a while ago now, on the Slipstream that Marcus did when he reviewed it, and we found he had difficulty with certain joysticks on a Commodore +4. So we decided, you know, to look into that a little later, and by using the joystick on your Commodore, you can actually pick out the key map that the joystick's linked to, which is fine. So we kind of put it down to just incompatibilities of the joystick. So in the second video we've used another one and all was fine, and we all enjoyed the game, and it's been a pretty decent game. So, you know, overall it was just one of those things. We came across something that maybe they hadn't thought of, and that was causing a problem. So in the email he asked me to check to find out, see if these kind of joysticks are going to work with real hardware, which is a good thing, because I'm guessing most people will use emulators for the +4s when they're playing a new game that they've downloaded, either for nostalgia or for convenience. But this time we're using real hardware. So I was given a version of the game that he's looking at, and I decided to literally try it on a Plus 4 and also try it on an emulator, and then try it on an upgraded Commodore 16. And the game is called Lykia. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm guessing it's kind of come from Lycia or Lycians, but Lykia is where I kind of think it's pronounced, but you know, I could be wrong. But anyway, the game's available for a free download, as in a freeware or shareware version, and the game will be out shortly, so I'm not really going to go into the game. I'll show you a few screenshots.
Made for you.
But I'm just going to cover the issues that I've found and the problems or potential problems it could cause. Now, the game itself seemed to work very well on a Commodore Plus 4, and I'm using an emulated disk drive, so basically it was running fine off of that. I had to tweak it a little bit to make it run smoothly, but it runs, and it runs through the 4 discs that are on there, and it loads, including the end titles and so on, so it all works fine. But when I started trying the joysticks out, I came across a very similar issue, but not in the same way as the other game. But basically, one of these joysticks with multiple different firing rates are what's caused the problem. And that's because the +4 joysticks are mapped to the keyboard. They're key mapped. So when you write something for the joystick port on these machines, you're literally just basically using a key map for it. So anything that's slightly different, or anything with electronics in, can cause issues, and this does. Multiple firing patterns cause problems. So that's what I found, but you can work around it in most of the joysticks, including the Speed King joystick I've got, etc. work fine. A basic Atari joystick works fine. All of the normal single and twin button fire joysticks work perfectly, but you will find that these do catch it out. But then it's not only this. I've kind of looked into it because it's now 3:45 in the morning and I've been on this quite some time, because I did promise I would look at it over the evening for him, but I got delayed, so you know, I just wanted to keep the promise. So anyway, I kind of sat down and started playing with it, and that's the biggest problem that I found. It was the same problem with the Commodore 16, and it kind of relates, from what I can see, especially bleary-eyed at this time of the morning, it all relates to the adapters that they use on the +4 for the joysticks. Because remember, the +4 used a mini DIN rather than the standard D-Way, and you know, that's what I think causes the problems when you've got multiple options in there, a little bit of hardware within the joystick. This time I was able to find a solution on here that would not cause any issues, that wouldn't carry on running left or right or going forward or doing random things, because it perceived that certain buttons were being held down, and it worked fine. I didn't have any issues with it. So, you know, overall, I don't think there'll be many issues with this game using standard joysticks. In fact, I don't think there'll be any whatsoever. You might be unlucky enough to have a joystick that really isn't 100% compatible or does some weird things within its internal hardware. But, you know, then most of us who have +4s, etc., will have maybe the odd other joystick kicking about. Now, the other thing you could do is go down the route that I did with this, is put standard 9-pin joystick ports on your +4 instead of the mini DINs, and it's literally just soldering new wires to the contact traces for each of these pins on the original joysticks. So it doesn't take long, and it's a bit fiddly, but it's, you know, it's doable, and it allows you just to plug in standard joysticks anyway, so you don't need that adapter, which will then put in extra complexity to your +4 system. And I think the +4 is one of the nicest Commodore machines overall. It can do a lot more than most people realize it can, and it was probably a lot better machine than most people realized it is or was. So I'm kind of looking forward to this game coming out, and when it does, I'll get a copy. I'll buy a copy straight away. I will play it, and I'm sure Marcus will get involved with it, and we'll do a review on it. So I hope that you know, sometime in the near future we'll be able to show you how good it is, because it's not in production yet. It's, don't want to spoil the game for anyone. I'm not going to go down that route. So you know, you're going to have to download the freeware version, have a play and decide for yourself, because it's a massive game. I think there's 500 or so rooms on it, so it's going to take you a while to kind of work your way through it. So yeah, overall, from what I've seen, you're not going to have any issues with your normal joysticks, and also it looks like it's going to be a very good game. I'd also like to say thanks for being kind of asked to look into this, because it's nice to help out at times, and you know, it all adds to the kind of community feel. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and there will be more soon. Please subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.